Gather round, it's story time. Comics Dad's got the latest on the line. From panels to pixels, we'll explore the world of comics and so much more. Welcome to Talkin Shop, where we never stop discussing heroes, villains, every plot twist we've got. From ink to screen and all in between. With Comics Dad and friends, it's the scene. We'll dive into pop culture, what's hot, what's not. Entertainment, buzz, the latest plot. Content creation, how we make it pop. Sit back, relax, let's talk shop. Welcome to Talkin Shop, where we never stop discussing heroes, villains, every plot twist we've got. From ink to screen and all in between. With Comics Dad and friends, it's the scene. Whether it's manga, movies, or memes, we've got the insights, the laughs, and the schemes. So join the chat, let's elevate the conversation, don't hesitate. From classics to new, from indie to mainstream, we'll cover it all like a superhero's dream. Maybe we'll stray talk of other things, but comic love is what gives us wings. Welcome to Talkin Shop, where we never stop discussing heroes, villains, every plot twist we've got. From ink to screen and all in between. With Comics Dad and friends, it's the scene.
Well, need myself full screen there. Hey, there we go. Hey, everybody. Comics Dad here with another episode of Talkin Shop. Unlike last time, you guys saw me with one of these things up over half of my face. Kind of came to the conclusion with Mrs. Comics pretty shortly after that. I'm not that important of a person or that big of a personality that I have to worry about being doxxed, and if I am, whatever, so be it. It is what it is. I'm used to people not liking me. But just welcome back, guys, for Talkin Shop. We have a very special guest with us this time, as we do every time. But real quick, before I introduce our guest, I just want to say quick hello to the chat. Error of Fate, John Abler, Panda Simone. Good to see you all here. And anybody else that kind of filters in throughout the stream, I'll try to say hi. But also, I just want to get it out of the way that if anybody is watching currently or watching this back on replay, if you want to support the channel, there are multiple ways that you could do so. I have a Ko-Fi page, a Buy Me a Coffee page, and a Comics Dad Venmo account that had been set up as well. As I always say, I don't expect anybody's hard-earned money. That's your hard-earned money. You do with it what you want. I don't deserve it. I'm just a schlub doing this on the side from working my regular 9 to 5 as well. But people have been generous enough in the past to have donated to the channel. So thank you, everybody who has done so before. Got that out of the way. We're cool. We're good. So now let's get into our introduction. We have a very special guest with us today. He is a very wonderful, very fantastic comic book artist who's also very inspiring. Once we get talking to him and we get to know some of his story, you'll all see why I say that. But we're going to have some fun today with comic book artist Erik Hodson. And let's roll our applause. Everybody give him a round of applause. Here we go. It's Erik Hodson.
Get on with it. Yes, get on with it.
Get on with it. Hey, Erik, how are you? Welcome to the channel.
Hey, I'm doing great. Thank you for having me. I can certainly hear that one guy clapping all the way on the internet, so thank you very much for that. I appreciate it. Somebody knows who I am.
Just a spoiler alert, it was me clapping.
Oh, okay.
But for anybody who doesn't know, Erik, as I said, he's a comic book artist. He has done, for anybody that's familiar with my channel, if you're familiar with my channel, you're pretty much familiar with Geeks and Gamers, Fear the Beardo, Drunk 3PO, X-Wing, all those people in that space. So Erik has done the art for J. David, Drunk 3PO's Achromatic Chronicles Green. and he is also the artist for the upcoming graphic novel Daughter's Revenge. Eric's sporting some of the Vindicta merch. I got my Vindicta hat on.
Nice.
But other than that, Erik, though, we will get into more of just kind of what you're working on currently and a little bit of backstory on you and your career. But as always, we have to start off the show by talking comics. So, Erik, given that you do work in the industry, my first and foremost question for you is, what was your first experience with a comic book and what really got you into comics?
Well, I mean, there was obviously, well, not obviously, but it was my father. God, I'm a little kid, very small. I have this core memory of him bringing me into their bedroom. We lived on a 300-acre cattle farm in Missouri, out in the middle of nowhere. It was wonderful. Best way to grow up. And he had this long cardboard box, kind of beat up, under the bed. It was just full of comics.
Okay.
Old Spider-Man. He was mostly a Marvel guy. Not very many DC in there. And yeah, it was just all of his old comics he still had left over. The sad part of the story is when he was stationed in Germany during Vietnam, he gave away all the ones he'd already read. So that was from the early 60s up into the 70s. So
no.
Inherited X-Men 1 or a Tales of Suspense 39 or anything like that.
Oh,
but these were near and dear to my heart, and I just fell into it. I was definitely a quiet child. I loved reading. I loved art. I drew all the time. My parents just endlessly encouraged me to keep drawing. And I played with my toys. I walked around our farm. It was all imagination 24/7. I was mostly alone. I didn't have any brothers or sisters. And so, yeah, I just kind of fell into those worlds. And as soon as I had any money of my own, I started buying comics at the grocery store. I always forget the issue number, but it's an issue of Iron Man during the Silver Centurion era, 75-cent copy. He's fighting U.S. agent on the cover. That was the first book I ever bought with my own money. And the rest has been history.
Oh, that's awesome.
It's a sickness I still have.
Yeah, I unfortunately I have not been a lifelong collector. I kind of have been in and out of comics myself my entire life. But that's fantastic, especially it's like they say with your father for when he ended up getting rid of all the books he read. Hindsight. That's all I gotta say. But yeah, it sounds like your father and I would get along pretty well, though, because I'm pretty much a Marvel guy myself. Dabble in DC, but it's all Marvel for me. But
it's Swamp Thing for me. I love the whole Swamp Thing. It's incredible because both those creators, and I'm terrible with names, but they both shared a dorm room in college. So,
well, Erik, as also is becoming a tradition here, since this is only our third episode, I can't call it a tradition just yet, but as it's turning into a tradition, as we can see right behind you, you have plenty to choose from. But what are a couple of books that you have in your collection that you came to show off for myself and for the comics crew today?
Okay, so one of the things that I'm involved in is I'm actually in a documentary series called Selling Superman. It's on Amazon, Google Play, and Apple iTunes. It's a 4-part documentary about a really good friend of mine, a business owner. His dad was really crazy with collecting comics. He inherited 300,000 comics and a whole bunch of other stuff after his father passed away. It's a crazy story because the guy had a really bad undiagnosed Asperger's. There's a lot of feels to it. I suggest you guys definitely watch this, especially if you have kids of your own.
Oh, like sure.
Father-son reflection on life type story. But when I came into the fold to be part of this story, I was gifted something very near and dear to my heart. And that is this Iron Man #1 and an 8.0. And this is probably one of my very favorite pieces of my collection because it has that story attached to it. This is a man who he brought me into the team. He has enough money. He could have hired, Rob Liefeld to do the artwork for the label on the CGC label. This doesn't have it, but I've got one around the corner that has.
Oh, okay.
But anyway, he saw in me a connection, and we became really good friends. And this was a gift to me, which I'm going to be quite honest. I broke down and cried when I received this, because probably the kindest thing anybody's ever done for me. They didn't have to. And Iron Man has always been my guy. That's what he asked me. He's like, "Who's your guy?" And that goes back to high school, being a fat kid getting picked on. I gravitated to Iron Man because he hid in a suit of armor that made him stronger than he was. He was able to overcome his weaknesses because of something he built. And that was very appealing to me as a, cruddy little fat kid getting picked on. So I kind of gravitated to that character. And so, yeah, Iron Man's my guy. And then to continue the sickness of collecting, because of my involvement with the Fantastic collection and all of that entails, I really started getting a love for Golden Age books. This is like you're a video gamer and you collect for the Neo Geo, which I do have a Neo Geo, by the way. It's one of those things that's like, yeah, you better hide the receipts from Heritage Auctions if you're going to get into Golden Age books. But
oh, yeah.
So I'm a huge shark guy. I love pinup art. And Mr. Alex Schomburg is my favorite of the Golden Age artists. He was everywhere. He was the one who illustrated Captain America for the first time. So he's all over Timely. These come from, it's not Fiction House, it's Western Publications, I think. But Exciting Comics. This is number 60. This has been a grail of mine ever since I saw it.
It's a 7, so that looks amazing. It's a 7, so of course that's wow.
Gorgeous airbrush
comics
work.
For anybody that doesn't know, to find a Golden Age comic in this condition is like diamond.
Yeah, no, it's seriously crazy. So that's a big favorite of mine. And while we're on that subject, I have some of these over here on the wall. So this is another Schomburg. This is a Brick Bradford Vice Robot cover. But this is the Fantastic label. So this is the front of the label, has the Fantastic logo and the logo for the film, Selling Superman. And on the back is all of the label art, which tells the story. So to kind of give you a quick rundown, one of the things that got my buddy Darren's father into collecting comics was the idea of the cosmic cube. And that if you held the cube, you could basically do anything. Well, how do you defend against that? And he became obsessive compulsive over this idea of these tropes in comics. And so he was a smart man of money. He was a lawyer in Michigan. He just started buying comics like crazy. And not like, yeah, there's Ghost Rider 1. I'm going to go buy a couple of issues. No, he'd buy 30 of them.
Oh, geez.
Put them in a box. And they sat there for 40 years. So this kind of tells the story of first with the Cosmic Cube, finding the collection, the destruction it did on the family, revealing the collection with the Superman reveal, and then no more, so I think it says like, no more secrets, bringing it out into the open and sharing it with the comic collecting community. So.
Oh, wow. That's cool that they were able to capture all that on the back there.
It was tough, too.
And you did the art for that on the back, right?
Yeah, that's all my art.
Okay, yeah, I know you did the front. That's awesome. And from what I could see, I mean, obviously, who knows if I'll actually be able to buy one off of their site one day? We'll see. But I'd love to get a hold of one so I can see it just up close and personal. How detailed that is of a job you did.
Yeah, just go to fantascollection.com. There are a couple thousand books on there right now, and most of them are around $100. There's a lot of, because that's one of the things about this collection. Yeah, there were a lot of big boys, including at the time the second most valuable Superman #1. At the time it was discovered. There's since been a couple more that have come onto the scene, but that's kind of what brought the heat to begin with. But yeah, there's all the big keys, but there's also stuff that you don't normally see in immaculate condition. So if for anybody looking to fill, a run, we have a whole bunch of raw books, more raw books than graded books. There's this oddball stuff that you wouldn't imagine, but it's in near immaculate condition because it was just never touched.
Fair.
That-
So
that's
I gotta, because I have looked at the website. I haven't done too thorough of a search because if I look, I know I'm gonna lose my house. But my wife, she actually has almost the entire run of the original Tomb of Dracula. She's just missing number 1 and number 10, which are obviously the two biggest ones. So for anybody that doesn't know, number 10 of Tomb of Dracula is the very first appearance of Blade the Vampire Hunter, the Daywalker.
So the story about that, I was at MegaCon with our buddy Jay, and I actually helped him hunt down a copy of that rated. I think we got him an 8.0, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh my god!
Because he came to me and there was a raw book, and this guy had it way overpriced. And because I've been learning about this, because I'm dealing with the collection and helping out, I could tell. Okay, you got all these ticks on the side. That mark, that's the mark. I looked it up on Go Collector. Like, really, this is an $800 book he's trying to sell for $1,400. Let's see if there's somebody here with a graded one, so you know what you're getting.
Yeah,
and
right.
If you're a collector, you buy the grade, you're getting what you're getting, because there's been times where we've gotten raw books. They go to grading and they come back with a purple label on it because there was some little touch up that nobody noticed. Well, you bought it from, didn't know it was there. So if you're going to do it as an investor collector, it's best to just get so you know what you're getting.
Oh yeah. We just she says all the time that her Tomb of Draculas are her babies, and those will be buried with her. So we have no intention of like, she really just wants to just find them so she has the collection. No intentions of using it as an investment or anything. But now I got to go though over to the site and see if maybe by any chance they have 1 or 10 on there now.
We've had one in the past, not to say that we won't have one in the future.
Well, if it happens to pop up and shoot me a message and we'll see how much of my right leg I gotta cut off and sell on the black market. But
sell organs like they do in China.
Well, I don't want to go internally yet. I just want to start with the outer limbs first because I know I can live without those. So, but since you shared some great pieces of your collection with us, I tend to share as well. Just so this way it's not a one-way street. But this is nowhere near as in fine of condition as your Iron Man number 1. But I happen to have Amazing Spider-Man number 40 here.
Ooh, that's a great book.
Yeah, it is. I mean, well, where's the camera? There it is. It's beat up all around the edges. It was definitely well taken care of, well read. But just the fact that I have this, I actually have Amazing Spider-Man 29 as well. But just the fact that I have 2 books that were actually written by Stan Lee himself and worked on by John Romita Sr., it means Spider-Man is my favorite comic book character of all time. Peter Parker, Spider-Man. For all the reasons anybody lists as to why they love Spider-Man and Peter Parker, me times 10. But
what you look for one of those artist editions of Romita. I have a Amazing Spider-Man Romita artist edition. It is amazing.
Oh, really?
High-end scans of the line art with the inks on it, and it's done in the size. It's like 11 by 17 in a book. So you see the mistakes, the corrections.
Oh, wow. It sounds like chef's kiss. And when we're done with the show, I may ask you to send me the link to that if you know where to get it, because I definitely need to get that now. But yeah, so just Amazing Spider-Man number 40 faces off against Green Goblin, who has revealed himself to be Norman Osborn at this point. At the end of the fight, Norman Osborn is going through amnesia, and I just overall it's a great issue. I love it. I've read not all of Amazing Spider-Man Volume 1 because it's 400 and I think 15, 16 issues, something like that. But I've read a good number of the first 100. But just another one that since you had 2 or 3, I just wanted to grab a couple as well. Ninja Turtles, the movie.
Ooh.
Just a comic book, just retelling of the original live-action Ninja Turtles movie from 90, I think that came out. But big turtle head, all about the Green Machine. I've really been in. I don't know if you
down all the original soft head turtles. So I started around Michelangelo because originally they came with these soft, cushy heads because there was like a shortage of plastic or something. There was in order to get them out in time, they had to use this cheaper material. So the very first run all had these like softer, squishy heads. So I got 2 more to get, and I keep looking for them.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, and you chose the best turtle too. So.
Oh yeah, Donnie and Leo are my boys. I love the interchangeable. I love those two.
Oh, for me, it's Donnie and Raph. But and I don't know if you've caught any of the 7 issues of the new volume that new series they've been doing with IDW, but it's good. It's fun. I like it so far. I haven't gotten caught up. I read the first 4, and it's a good read. But we're here to talk about you and other comics and not other people's work. But just the last one that I got to share real quick, though, is just Transformers #3 with Megatron and Black Suit Spider-Man. And I know Jay has shown off his Transformers books. I actually used to have Transformers #5, who Jay and many people say is the best cover. Yeah, with Soundwave or with Shockwave on it.
Yeah, Shockwave's my boy.
Yeah, Shockwave is good. Soundwave is my guy. But and
well, you and Carl get along great then.
Oh, we do. We tell Jay somewhat frequently in his Welcome to Rebellion chats that Starscream is inferior. So
if this painting ever comes up on Heritage, I'll probably try to sell my house.
Yeah, I had that one, and unfortunately last year I had to just I had to go through my collection. I ended up selling a good chunk of it, but what I didn't realize I had sold was #5 and then #3, which I have over here. I actually accidentally sold them when I sold part of my collection last year to, life bills, all that stuff. But so I had to go track down recently another copy of 3 just so I had it, because Spider-Man, Megatron, Transformers, love Spider-Man. I had to have it back in my collection. I'll track down a #5 again eventually, but
I was in that state for a while, and I sold out all of my 90s Valiant comics, so I've been buying back those, mostly the Magnus Robot Fighters. But I do regret getting rid of those because those are great.
I hit add the stage too quickly on that.
I just had one that I rebought, but yeah, I sold out of all those and a bunch of other stuff. I don't know what I lost.
Yeah, I mean, my collection has never been super big, but I mean, I ended up getting rid of probably almost 2 long boxes worth of books, and then there were a couple that I realized after the fact that I just kicked myself. But that's life. That's how the dice roll sometime.
Yeah, the other thing I divested myself of being a completionist, and I just focus on getting specific pieces that really mean something to me. So I've got like a whole bunch of Black Hole memorabilia, for example, and, the few pieces of He-Man or G.I. Joe, some of the stuff over here, just stuff that really actually means something to me, rather than trying to just fall into that trap of getting everything, which that's not a healthy place to be.
So just real quick, I've been flashing up as people are coming in and say hi. So I got you Risk It, got you Panda Simone earlier, but Belmont Press Comics specifically, got to stop real quick and mention, and we'll talk about, I actually have that as one of the things we want to talk about as we move on. But Belmont Press Comics, for anybody who's unaware, Erik worked on the main cover for a book that they are in the process of producing and will be putting out this year, called Pencils Down. It's Pencils Down, correct? I just wanted to make sure. It's been 2 weeks since I bought it, and or since I pre-ordered it off the Indiegogo page. I just wanted to make sure I got the title right, because I haven't had to think about it since I hit buy.
It's one of those really fun things, because it all came out of that whole Marx Brooks scenario where everybody was told pencils down during COVID because they couldn't pay you anymore or whatever. And so I spawned out of that, and it's fun. And my cover's really cheeky too. So we're gonna get to that as we're gonna talk about some of your work and some of the stuff you worked on, and that cover is definitely on the list of things we're gonna go over real quick. But Belmont Press Comics, whoever's over there running the channel, thank you so much for stopping by. I appreciate it. You're here to represent Hard K. There's got to be a story behind that name. Yeah, so basically, my name gets misspelled all the time because it's E-R-I-K. Most people are E-R-I-C.
Okay.
In the chat group that I'm in with him, is like, no, there's a K. It's a hard K. Just stuck.
I think the next time you do a convention, get a table at a convention, you got to have a name tag that says hard K.
Yeah.
That's got to be your pass. That's got to be your creator's pass name.
I love it.
But so let's just pull up. So here is, for everybody, here is Erik's X page. So he's at Dreded Dinosaur. So go ahead and follow him over on X. Puts updates about whenever he's got work that he's or books that he's working on. Also just everyday posts about, just like any one of us would do on a social media platform as well. Specifically, I have to highlight this because I have so many questions, and then we'll talk more about stuff that you're working on. But
Do I know what it is?
if it'll load. You might know what it is, but I just need it to load. I got a potato laptop I work off of, and if I got more than 2 tabs sitting open for a while, it has to refresh. But still waiting to build that PC this summer too. There we go. So Erik, I gotta ask, what is going on with, because you put pictures like this up pretty frequently. What is up with the bacon and coffee?
I mean, everybody's got to have their thing, right? And for me, this started out just as like a laugh, but it's really good. Like I practice carnivore diet most of the time. I'm like 95% carnivore. I'll humor my wife once in a while and eat other stuff, but I try to be really rigid as I can be. And I love bacon. I eat like 4 or 5 strips of bacon every day, 4 or 5 eggs every day. That's mostly what I eat, and then it's grilling steaks in the summertime. So just, and I love coffee. I'm one of those guys who I judge you if you put anything in your coffee, like cream and sugar. Okay. It's okay for girls. That's girls' coffee. But I drink it black like a man. And but like butter's great. I'll put grass-fed butter in there. And for a laugh, I was like, well, what about a hog fat? So I just stirred my coffee with bacon. I left it there, took a picture. Let's see what the people on X think. Blew up. I got people who followed me just for that. And it's actually really good. You swirl it around, you get a little bit of that bacon fat in there.
Okay.
Coffee seems to go really well because that's why the butter coffee works. And for somebody who's carnivore, you want as much healthy animal fat as you can have because that's your fuel. You're not fueling with carbs anymore. Mm-hmm. And it's just a natural thing that goes together, and it's become my thing.
Man, I'm filled with carbs. Anybody out there can't tell. I think I gotta change that.
You can do it.
It's in the plans for this year. My wife, Mrs. Comic, she ended up having surgery at the beginning of the year. As a lot of people in the chat know. So the plan for the year was to start doing it, and she was going to do it with me because she wanted to get on that train as well, just kind of get back into doing some cardio and whatnot. And but she ended up having her surgery, and she was sidelined for a little over 2 months. And I didn't want to do it without her. So now she's back to work. Work's been crazy slam for her since she's been back to work this month. So in the next week or so, we're going to finally start doing what we set out to do at the beginning of the year. So I'm going to see if we can get a bunch of bacon, though, and I'm going to add that into the routine.
Cool. Awesome. Let me look at it. And I know it's not like CrossFit or veganism. It's not, we don't get that annoying in the carnivore community, but as somebody who's living with autoimmune disease, I have scleroderma. That's why my hands are all messed up. Since going keto and then going carnivore, I have my highest quality of life ever, and it's come at the perfect timing because I got to take care of my dad who has cancer. My mom she's getting old too. She can't do it all. And my daughter gave me a granddaughter last year, so I got to do some babysitting.
Congratulations on that.
Yeah, thank you, I guess. And then my friends, it was a shock. Let's say it was a surprise. It was a good surprise. Love the baby to death. She's amazing.
That's how it happens sometimes. Our little one was a surprise to us too. So it was good, but like you said, good surprise. But
yes, absolutely. There's a lot of people in my life who need me to be around. And prior to this, when I was eating the normal foods, I could barely get out of bed most days. The chronic pain was that bad. I'd be stooped over. Felt like I was very depressed, suicidal thoughts, probably the lowest point in my life. And I had to make a change. It was post-COVID. You know what? I'm going to try keto. Started actually feeling better. So I dumped going to the doctor. I dumped taking because my doctor was at this point was like, dude, you take marijuana and be addicted to Vicodin for the rest of your life. I'm like, okay, sounds good to me. I don't even need that anymore for pain management because I stay on routine. Now, when I get tempted, like, let's eat a cookie for dessert, he puts me in a coma because my body can't take the sugar anymore.
Oh,
so
really?
I basically fall asleep. Like I just you know.
Oh, geez.
And sometimes if I eat like too many vegetables or too much bread at a church function, for example, because you can't control the food, so you want to be polite, you eat some of it, my inner workings will get gummed up and I'll have a couple of days where I don't feel so good. But you get back on the horse and you get back on it, your body reacclimates. I have nothing but good things to say about it, much to my wife's chagrin because she's tired of hearing about it.
Well, hey, good on Mrs. Hodson for I'm assuming she's your biggest supporter through all of it. So even though she's tired of it, I'm sure she couldn't be happier with you about it at the same time.
Yeah, she needs me around too. So
yeah.
But good to be the liability. And I got a comic book to draw. I'm drawing pirates, man. Pirates.
And that's actually what I was gonna hop right into next, since you're wearing the. What was that?
So I gave you a segue.
Yeah, you did. I was gonna go. You gave me the perfect segue. I mean, well, that and our apparel, my hat, your shirt. But we're just gonna go right into this. So coming soon. I had the video pulled up. There we go. But for anybody that missed the beginning, Erik is the art for the upcoming Drunk Theo, Russ and Jay, whichever way you know them by. But that they dropped on History of Pirates channel. I can hear myself think. You guys can't hear, but I can hear it. But yeah, in this video we've got some just the cover, which you worked on the cover as well as the interior, right? I know you did the interior.
Correct. Yeah, that's my cover.
Yeah, I mean, and just by looking at this, I mean, I love your work, man. It's absolutely beautiful. I mean, chat, if you look at this and you go, it looks okay, you're absolutely insane. You need to praise this man for all of his excellent line work and his great detail. And honestly, there's a lot of great indie artists out there, but from what I've been seeing in the last 3-4 months, I've been digging deeper into indie comics. I really wanted to have you on because you're one of my favorite indie comic artists, Erik. And this right here just kind of shows off why I love what you do. I mean, and we've got Dreded Dinosaur, which we'll look at, and like you have a couple of different styles that you work in, but when X-Wing and Drug 3PO dropped this on the History of Pirates channel, I was really excited already for the book, and then I got to see these couple of interior pages. Is it going to stay black and white like that?
We're going to do a black and white edition, but the full edition will be in color. My good friend in the Philippines, Big Boy Robo, follow him, please. He's a tremendous artist in his own, and he is one heck of a colorist. So my other, the AR-13L, the Little Mercmaid, came into it late, and he has already caught us up because we had to switch colorists. He's doing unbelievably beautiful work. And I can't wait to put these pages into his hands because what we're going to go with is a watercolor style. Ooh. So for this, what I'm trying to do is emulate some of the old Golden Age artists with a little bit of an upkick because I'm doing the tones and a lot of gritty texture and stuff. I'm trying to be more brush-like with my lineup quality. And I told him, look, I want to see watercolor washes. I want to see staining. I want to see that kind of that real natural watercolor look to it. So I can't wait to get pages in his hand. Once he's done with Mercmaid, he'll be moving right onto this one. And you're gonna want both editions because they're both gonna look beautiful.
Oh yeah. Well, what is it? Risk It for a Biscuit in chat just said, I've set my money aside for the I Want It All pack. So, yeah, I think I might need to also. But yeah, the watercolor, it seems like it's a pretty appropriate fit for that, considering it's nautical, pirates, sea, watercolor just seems to make sense. But
Yeah, I
I mean,
do
honestly,
for my cover, I kind of did my own, what I was thinking of in terms of it. So the cover that's in the video, it's much more of it's kind of more watercolory, just to try to get that kind of texture in there.
oh yeah, and you can see it, and it works great. But honestly, I'm more partial to black and white myself, depending upon. I mean, it kind of depends upon the style. Some styles are a lot better in black and white than they are in color. I mean, this with the watercolor, I imagine it's going to be great. Once it goes over for coloring, but just those pages in black and white, I want it and I want to read it and over and over. I don't even want words. I just want to look at the pictures because I can't read anyway. I'm illiterate, so I'm an illiterate moron. But
well, be handled by my good buddy Pixel Trader, who's doing all of the stuff for Mercmaid as well as far as the lettering. The onomatopoeia, the sound effects, I'm drawing those into the scenes. So those have more of a natural grittiness to them. I didn't want them to look like fonts.
Okay.
Manipulate. So I'm trying to like draw original onomatopoeia into it. And that was really Darren Warren Johnson, or Daryl, which is it? The Skybound Transformers guy. Because he did a lot of that very painterly with the sound effects and Transformers, and I love it. I love it. So I'm kind of doing, that kind of pushed me to say, well, yeah, I'll just start drawing the sound effects with the art into it. So
yeah, I didn't realize that that's what they were doing in that, because I love that Transformers series. It's so good.
Oh, it's the best thing I've read in a long time. Every time a train comes out, I read it cover to cover right then and there.
Oh yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I gotta go back and I gotta see if I can find a number one. They're going, I think, for about $100 right now.
Oh, nice. I got the San Diego exclusive, and I think I got one other one. But yeah, mostly I just been buying the trades because something I really want to read. There it is.
Oh yeah, exactly. But let me. Oh man, close your X page. All right, let me go back because I was actually gonna. Yeah, no, you know what? We'll skip over to this other one because you mentioned that a bit too. We can go AR-13L, The Little Mercmaid. This is the other book that you're the primary artist for the interior on. Now I know because I know they have an X account, and I reached out to whoever runs the X account, and there's going to be a second chance campaign. Is that correct, or is it just?
We're going to be launching a Kickstarter campaign probably in the next month or two. Again, follow Pixel Trader, follow the main account, follow the crab Sebastian. But this book was so much fun to draw, and just the fact that this was a shit post that went viral and turned into. I was rolling up in his chat, because he originally posted like some AI thing just to poke the bear for Disney, because the action movie was coming out, so he wanted to try to go viral. And it turned out that the entire internet kind of wanted this book to be made, because I said, let's do this. I'm drawing it for you. And our writer Piper, within minutes after I contacted him, said she said, I already have a story for this. Let's do it. So,
geez.
This whole thing was a groundswell. So yeah, we'll definitely we'll be listing on Kickstarter. There's an extra sexy cover exclusive for the Kickstarter campaign.
Oh, okay. You hear that, John, and anybody else out there that's into that, but specifically John, extra sexy just for you.
But this is a fun book. You're gonna turn the page, you're gonna be like, holy crap.
Well, I already said holy crap when we came across this guy right here. Let's get that out of the way. Yeah, this little knife wielding crab guy you got here. That I saw that, and that immediately sold me.
Great backstory that Pixel and I are hoping to do later on, where he gets that knife hand because he escapes a seafood restaurant.
Oh, that's awesome.
Like, so in a perfect world, we'll make enough. We'll make enough from the Kickstarter to where we can mass manufacture these adorable plushies.
Oh my god!
Book of his adventure escaping the Chinese fast food seafood place or whatever.
Well, even if it doesn't fund enough for mass production, I gotta find a way to, if you can hook me up with one, I'll pay whatever it takes, man. I need one of those. That's awesome. Even if it's just one specially made for me, you talk to them, whatever they need, I'll make it happen.
I think we can probably make that happen.
Cool, man, cool. But yeah, that's and just scrolling down through, this is the Fund My Comic campaign. Your different arts. This one was your cover here, cover B. John, get a good look, man. I know you're about your eye candy.
And man, this is an aesthetic that I love to use. I use it all throughout the book, where you have the water line. For some reason, I love that, so I try to use it as much as possible.
Yeah, I mean, it looks great. Just and you did. Now, did you do the color on the cover as well, or just the one?
No, that was our previous colorist, Frederico, who does a lot of work for Dave Brink over at Genuine Comics.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it came at the cover. It's this between this and the primary cover. These two are my favorite. Cover B, your cover is just takes the top spot just because here he is, right here, just hanging out in the background. But it looks great, man. And this whole thing, I came across it after the funding campaign had already closed, so I was so bummed. And then once I talked to you a little bit about it, and you're like, "Oh yeah, reach out over on the actual X page for the book. They'll give you info or whatever." And once whoever runs that page told me, "Oh no, you'll have your chance. Don't worry." I immediately said, "The Philip J. Fry meme from Futurama. Shut up and take my money." But and then
we love comics. We want to tell stories. We want to have fun doing it. It shouldn't be misery. It shouldn't be dramatic. It shouldn't be a bunch of girls having a hissy fit. Grow up, have fun. We don't get to live for very long, so let's enjoy what we're doing.
Oh, for sure. And just for anybody that wants to follow the actual book on X, this is the page right here at Little Mercmaid. So this way, just like me, when I want to get my hands on this now, but I missed the funding campaign. Anybody else as well, you want to get in on the Second Chance Kickstarter that they're going to be putting up, follow this page over on X. You'll be able to see when that happens as well. But let's go. All right, let's go back to you, because I closed your X page a little too early. Now you got to figure out how to spell. There we go. Dreded Dinosaur. D-R-E. Like I said, I'm illiterate, so. But while I pull up, because what I want to do is I want to look at the actual Dreded Dinosaur web comic real quick, so long as my potato laptop will let me. But because I agree with Risk It for a Biscuit here earlier, he said if it'll show. Come on, show.
I see that. Thank you very much.
There we go.
Appreciate
As a comic book fan, we need Dreded Dinosaur around. So I agree with Risk It for a Biscuit, and now, my potato laptop is gonna keep acting up. I'm telling you, Comics Crew, I just need a graphics card. Once I get the GPU bought, I will be getting the PC built, and then by the end of the summer, we will have better quality streams without all this waiting. I promise you guys.
Subscribe, people. Let's get this guy funded. Let's get him profitable so we can buy better equipment.
I've got all the pieces bit by bit. I'm already almost there. I just need that GPU. And Comics Crew, you don't got to worry about paying for that. Like I told you guys earlier, I don't deserve your money. I'm just some schlub that's kind of stumbling his way through the internet over these last 3-4 months I've been doing it. So, but I'm gonna pull up. I guess I'll pull up number 1 and just scroll through it. But do you want to just give the chat an idea in terms of who the Dreded Dinosaur Man is and what kind of brought that about? Because this is your entire original creation, correct?
Correct. And so Dreded Dinosaur Man started out as my love letter to my childhood. There's a lot of ideas that I kind of pull and borrow from what I grew up with watching Saturday morning cartoons. Obviously, he's kind of like a hero archetype character, but for him, he does not know if he is a man becoming a monster or a monster trying to become a man. And that gets him into trouble. Fortunately, he has his little sidekick Spaz, who is a cat person, to kind of keep him in check. And he's made this decision that despite his animalistic nature, he's not going to give into that. He wants to be a hero. So the first episode, they've tracked down these slave traders transporting this beautiful princess and, this slave girl. And he decides he's going to rescue her. Things don't quite work out the way he planned them in his mind. And that kind of sets up the whole story where he's got this dichotomy inside of him, which we all do. And one of the reasons I really pushed for this, and I don't really shy away from the violent nature of it, is because children nowadays, and I was a public school teacher for a while, they deal with this. They have this inside rage because, I taught inner city Detroit kids. Most of them don't have fathers. So there's anger there for little boys. We have a whole culture trying to make boys into little girls. It's insane. It's evil. And when I was growing up, my dad did the best he could, but I needed others in my life. And for me, that was the morality of Optimus Prime, the leadership of Lion-O, those types of characters, He-Man. I really gravitated to those characters a lot because I was getting things from them that I needed as a child, and there's nothing out there for them nowadays for kids growing up. So that's one of the reasons why I wanted to make Dinosaur Man very, very toyetic. Like everything is in a toy.
And you could see that too. Definitely. I could definitely see the He-Man inspiration.
I sculpted and printed out a 3D printer, made my own action figure. So if we ever get Dinosaur Man profitable, he's going to have a figure and play sets and all that good stuff. And I really wanted to drive this home where he's struggling with this nature, because we all have two natures. We can choose to be worse or we can choose to be better. And a lot of kids don't realize that they have that choice. They just act out of their emotions because of their trauma. And so that's kind of the backbone behind this. The stories are fun. The characters are beautiful, cool. Spaz, the cat person there, was named after my cat who passed away. Designed him. That was part of my therapy. I had lost him, so I put him in the book. And, and when I took the toy mock-up, I took some handouts and stuff, and I went to a toy convention in Columbus. And originally, so up to this point, I was doing it for me. I saw 5- and 6-year-old little boys dragging their dads, pointing at my poster that I had up. And they're like, "Can I buy this? Does this exist?" And so right then and there, I was like, you know what? It's going to. And I'm very fortunate. I have my buddy Darren. I have my buddy Jay. They love Dinosaur Man. They want to see Dinosaur Man succeed. So he's on the calendar to have a print book later this year. I'm drawing the next installment of Achromatic Chronicles, which what I just said about doing this for children, that's why I was drawn to when Jay offered me the job to do Green. Absolutely, because I want to give back to parents who have kids who need material that their kids can fall in love with and not be corrupted by. So,
and that right there, just if it doesn't do it for chat, but it at least tells me everything I need to know about you, Eric. And as much as I already wanted to support you before, I want to support you like 10 times as much now, man. Like that's awesome. And honestly, I see all the inspirations in this. Just going through this first your first issue of it, the first time I went through it just on my own. I saw a lot of what you were talking about in terms of Lion-O, He-Man, and all the great cartoons of Days Gone, where there were those strong male role model characters for kids growing up. And I really, first off, I'm really excited for you that you're able to put this into print. And secondly, I hope nothing but the best for Dreded Dinosaur Man. We need to take this thing to the top. We absolutely need to take this thing to the top. We need books. We need toy lines. We need cartoons. We need all of it.
Well, God has blessed me by putting Jay in my life, and he sees the value in it. And we're working on the Achromatic Chronicles cartoon. We have this very similar mindset. So I think as much as we succeed with this, with Daughter's Revenge, again, that's for the boys, that's for the older men. But I think we have a really good shot of creating some culture that people can be proud of again.
And that's really what we're missing. That's what we've been missing for a long time. And again, it's just work that you and Jay are doing, with his first book, Achromatic Chronicles Blue, and then you coming in to work on Green, Dreded Dinosaur Man, the stuff that Ripaverse has been working on, even though it's more for like adults and older kids, teenagers, stuff like that. But it's a lot of that stuff that doesn't have the nonsense that has been pushed down the throats of not just our youth, but pretty much our entire society for not even the last 4 years, more like the last 10. And we need more creators like you guys out there, and they're out there. They exist. And that's part of the reason why I wanted to start doing this show, Talkin Shop, and then it's also why I wanted to start doing. I have a monthly video series that I started putting out called Ick, or Indie Comic Highlight. I'm highlighting people that are just out there doing their thing. And there's not all that nonsense and BS that we've grown accustomed to seeing in our entertainment and our comic books and even our regular books and all that. Mm-hmm. So round of applause and hats off to you and to, like I said, everybody else that I mentioned and all the other independent creators out there that are just trying to bring back some normalcy to our everyday lives and in terms of what we consume and what keeps us entertained. But also, since you mentioned it, Achromatic Chronicles Green, everybody. They're still available over on Ripasend. Go pick them up. Erik did the artwork for it. It's wonderful. Me and my kids haven't gotten around to reading it just yet. Blue is because I've been reading it most of it with my 5-year-old. Blue is a bit lengthy, so I'm tackling it with her little at a time. We're about 2/3 of the way through. But the second we're done with Blue, she wants to crack this one open and get going on Green. And then I'll sit there and I'll tell her, yeah, you know all these wonderful pictures. You like the pictures? They're awesome, and you like the story. Well, Daddy knows the guy that did the pictures, baby. And then
that's another thing is like, I don't do as many Comic Cons as I did in the past, but you really got to be out there and you've really got to be accessible in this day and age. And I know that. A lot of people's advice is start your own YouTube channel, start streaming all the time. I don't have time for that with my crazy, hectic life I told you a little bit about. Mm-hmm. And I'm redrawing comics. So I don't have time for a YouTube channel, which is why people like you are amazing. And we're so happy that you're there because you're not trying to hog the spotlight. You're trying to create a spotlight and shine it on those of us who are doing the work. And so thank you so much for that. Let's get this guy some more subs. Get him, profitable on YouTube and keep doing more of this because we're not going to get the culture we want unless we don't make it ourselves and tell each other about it. And this is what he's doing. He's telling people about this. So again, thank you.
No, thank you, man. I appreciate that. That means a lot. So let's, before we hop into, because I was actually just about to bring up the cover for Pencils Down, but I want to address this. Risk It for a Biscuit says, I want more Cocaine Shark. So now I know Cocaine Shark exists. I, for the life of me, have been looking and I cannot find it. Erik, how do I get Cocaine Shark? And then how do I get more Cocaine Shark?
So Cocaine Shark is a freebie that comes with AR-13L, the Little Mercmaid. I had finished the book and I wanted to do some test prints. I got permission from the team to do some test prints. So I printed out 100 copies. I've still got a couple. I can definitely send you one.
Dude, you don't got to do that.
It's Cocaine Shark. It's a shark that kills drug dealers. But it's part of the kismet of this whole Mercmaid thing because when Cocaine Bear came out, and I'm a big shark guy, I did the same thing that Pixel did with the Mercmaid thing, only I hand drew my own cover of a proposed Cocaine Shark story. It went a little bit viral. And Piper comes in and she's like, can we do a Cocaine Shark in the story? And I'm like, I already drew a Cocaine Shark. Are you kidding me? So it was one of those things that was meant to be. So I polished it off and finished it up. We're going to probably add one more artist for the production version, and that's going to be with the Kickstarter, just like it was with the Fund My Comic. You'll be able to get that with AR-13L.
Oh, okay, perfect. So you hear that? Risk it. You'll be able to get Cocaine Shark. You just got to go get Little Mercmaid. Make sure you go get Little Mermaid. Risk it. We looked at it earlier. It looks like it's great. It looks like it's going to be a fun time. And then Cocaine Shark is going to be even an extra great time because you get both at the same time. What? That you get? Because, I mean, Little Mermaid, from just the story that you told, it kind of started almost as a meme. So you get two meme comics that are going to be great stories in one. Like, that should be a genre. It should be the meme genre of comics. And I just want stories that develop from memes.
The big bad uses cocaine to kind of control the shark and make him do her thing. And then after, the story has been resolved, Cocaine Shark's still out there. He's still addicted to cocaine. And he knows where to get it. So it's just fun stories about a shark hunting down drug dealers. I'm already starting to plan out Cocaine Shark Book 2, Miami Booger Sugar. And so maybe that'll be a 2026 thing.
I wasn't expecting that title. I mean, I know that's what it was called, but... Oh, yeah. All right. Risk it. There you go. You got your more Cocaine Shark. You got your Booger Sugar coming, man. So before I get lost in Cocaine Shark, I'm going to move on to Pencils Down.
It's basically another meme comic because the whole idea of it is spun out of Marx Brooks and the Pencils Down and all the comic companies saying we can't pay you because nobody's buying our crap. So stop drawing. We can't pay you. And this is just a bizarre, fun tale about a hack comic book artist whose pencil basically becomes sentient and macho and ultra Chad and runs amok in his life.
So, but before I pull up the whole cover, just real quick. So, okay, this is the reason why you guys need to go out and buy all these books that Erik is working on then. If he needs a new microphone, go support that man so he can get a new microphone. Let's go, people. They were saying it was popping a little bit, but I saw that and I just didn't want to call out your mic, but I just wanted to give people a reason to go buy your books. You want Erik to have a better microphone that doesn't pop? Go buy the books, people. Come on, let's go. But so this is created by Belmont Press Comics, who right there actually is in the chat. It's pure satire fun. So Justin Belmont and his team. Erik is part of that team doing the cover, but let's pull up the cover here. So this is the primary cover, and Erik, this is your cover, correct?
Yep.
So right here, we can even see it's definitely a meme comic. Got some jokes in there. I'm assuming this is like a just the tip kind of joke.
Pretty much.
All right, that's kind of what I figured there. Y'all were going for with that, but
give him a good sharpening.
And there's Dreded Dinosaur action figure over there.
Yep.
There's Cocaine Shark in the background.
If anybody wants to do some Googling fun, one of my early adventures in comics was a web comic called Chad the Fat Kid. That's the little boy there. It was all about being awkward in high school. And then Cocaine Shark's back there. The Mercmaid's back there. Sebastian is basically brutalizing the Marx Brooks character in a garbage can. I mean, it's...
I'm gonna love that. I'm gonna love that little crab. That's gonna be my favorite character. I swear. Out of all your characters, that's gonna be the best in my mind, no matter what. Biscuit for a biscuit. At least he's well shaped. Oh, but
he's gonna give her the number 2 later.
That's a good one, man.
Cheers.
Yeah, I don't have anything to drink. Here, I got some water. I'm getting a little thirsty anyway. Cheers. But so Erik, just we went over kind of what you've been working on and everything, but there is one thing that you touched on briefly earlier is that if you want to just maybe give some people some background in terms of how you're actually able to do such great work considering your condition. So if you want to, if you don't mind sharing your story, because I think it's really inspirational and it's very humbling. When I heard it the first time, I was like, "Wow, man!"
When I was in art school, I started having these symptoms where my hands would get really cold. They'd turn white. They turn purple, like grape juice purple, because I had this condition called Raynaud's phenomenon, where my brain, I would catch a draft, I'd catch a little chill from opening the freezer, or living in Michigan for 9 months of the year, and my brain would think I was freezing to death, like going into hypothermia. So it starts drawing your circulatory system to protect your core and keep you alive. So unless I'm mistaken, when it's white, there's zero blood flow. When it's purple, there's no oxygen going. And I started getting sores on my fingertips because the tissue was dying, gangrenous stuff. I'd have to lance them and drain the pus out and clean it. And I've had many low points in my life. That was definitely pretty low. So I was going through this with college. I was blacking out periodically, didn't know what was going on with myself. Finally got myself to working for Starbucks so I could have some health insurance, go to a doctor. He diagnosed me right away with scleroderma because he'd seen it before. Scleroderma is an autoimmune disease. It's Latin for hard skin. And that's the primary symptom that's visible. Is my hands are all like bunched up. They don't stretch out anymore. I got the same range of motion as Sebastian here with my crab claws. It sucks because I was trying to learn sign language, and now I can only say, It's okay to laugh at that. As I can see, Comics Dad is about to fall out of his chair.
I'm always in for a good laugh, especially now that the other hard R word is working its way back into acceptable norms on social media. So now that those jokes are coming back, I'm about it.
Yeah. So anyway, about 3 years into this, I started noticing things were stiffening up. I had one of my lower moments. I was literally crying out to God, please don't take my hands, because that's all I can do. That's all I want to do is draw comics. I have no other skill set. There's nothing, I didn't believe in myself enough to do anything else. And so he said, ha ha, I'm taking your hands and you're still going to be able to draw. And you're probably going to be better than if, beforehand, which seems to be the case because people actually like my stuff. And other than that, it's like where there's a will and there's a way. I would be trying to do this if all I had was a rag and a stick and some dirt to draw in. I would be doing this if there was no money involved, because it's just what I'm passionate about doing. So, the faith angle of it is very strong for me because that's legitimately my story. But for anybody who's not not a godly person, I guess, or not a Christian, it's just like, if your mind is focused enough, you can overcome the things in life. Like one of my favorite quotes from a professional wrestler, Diamond Dallas Page, is life is 10% what happens to you and 90% what you do with it. So there's a lot to be said for mind over matter and having your willpower. I spent about 1.5 years learning how to draw, getting used to, like, this can just hold something. All the work's going to be done here. I went into teaching. I did student teaching. I would have kids like trying to do a pinch pot with clay. Like, I can't do this. Grab the clay, roll it with my forearms. Okay. It's up here. It's up here.
Oh, yeah. That's awesome.
100%. So where I can use that and Lord willing, I've had opportunities where I can witness to folks and also talk to them about, going through this, because at the end of the day, it's like we only have this one life to live. Do something with it that's meaningful, and let your story play out. And I guess that's what I'm doing. So,
well, on behalf of the chat and everybody that goes and watches this back, it's first off that's amazing that you had the kind of stick to itiveness attitude or whatever kind of made up word I want to use to describe it. But I mean, it's honestly it's inspiring, man. You were able to overcome such. I don't want to say adversity because I feel like that's such a drawn out and cliched line, but I mean, you really were thrown kind of to the wolves in a sense, and you were able to overcome all of that and do what you love regardless. And I'm left speechless. I don't really have anything else to say about it other than good on you and God bless you, man. I'm so happy for you that you've been able to take that and turn it into a strength and do what you're doing and love what you're doing. And God definitely gave you a talent and gave you a gift, man. So regardless of what else he gave you alongside it, that gift outshined everything else that you got. That may have been a little bit of on the negative side or on downfall. You were able to make it work, and you're still using the gift he gave you, and you're able to make it shine brighter than ever, man. And that's awesome.
We tend to single out our limits and think that, and it can be isolating because we think that we're the only ones struggling through this. I've been very fortunate to be able to do a couple of mission trips, seen real poverty in the Ivory Coast, in India, seen how 99% of the world lives outside of this shelter of America. And I'm not entirely sure where I was going with this, but basically it's like, it breaks down to the point where it's like, most of those limitations, they're in here. And whether they were put there by a bad parent or by a bad experience or some traumatic event, they're there. And that doesn't mean they're going to go away. There's not always a miracle. I've met people who are miraculously healed from this and their hands work again, but that's not me. That's not what I was allowed to have. I was allowed to have a life in spite of this as a testimony. When people tend to think about, wanting to be healed, healing comes in different types of things. And sometimes that's the overcoming of the situation, not necessarily that it goes away, but you are learning to live with it. And every one of us is broken in some way. Some are physical, some are mental, some of us are both. And the challenge of this life is learning to either live with it and overcome it, or be cured from it and walk away from it. And I think most of us, it's live with it and overcome it despite what's going on. So I would encourage everybody who's watching, everybody in the chat, whatever it is that's holding you back, it's just up here at some point. So give it up there if you can, but push through, because again, we only have this one life. What are you doing with it? Are you sitting in front of the TV, consuming, or are you producing something to make things a little bit better for somebody else?
As well said, man. All right. I had something in my eye. I'm not crying, you're crying. But no, thank you so much for sharing that with us. That's, like I said before, it's inspirational, man. And you kind of, I don't want to say necessarily you kind of like are a poster child for just taking that and taking anything that life throws at you and learning to work with it and learning, like you said, to heal with it and turn it into an advantage. But you kind of are, man, at least in my mind. You kind of are, like, at least in the comic industry and in our little sphere here on YouTube and everything, you're kind of like the poster child for that, man. And your story is awesome. And I loved hearing it the first time when you were on with Jay on Welcome to Rebellion, and hearing it again, and you shared even some more stuff that I didn't even recall hearing when you were talking with Jay. And it just had, I already respected you a lot before, brother, and I have even a whole second level of respect for you now. So thank you so much for just coming over here and sharing that with us. Before we get going, I do want to go over or show you just something that was going around X the other day. So Graham Nolan, for those of you who don't know, the co-creator of the original design and the character of Bane, the infamous Batman villain. So there is a current Batman title called Absolute Batman. I haven't touched it. I haven't read it. I don't know anything about it yet. I was maybe interested in it until I saw this. So what this is this is actually the design of Bane in that title, Absolute Batman. And Graham Nolan kind of described it on his own. He has his own YouTube show that he talks with some friends of his and stuff. But they made Bane a literal pinhead. And he went to X and he said, as the designer / co-creator of Bane, this is the terrible abomination. And he got all sorts of crap for it. People were, I backed him. I said, your initial response, look how they massacred my boy. But some people were giving him crap, calling him old man, saying like, this clown right here, imagine being so miserable that you have to shit on another artist's work on Twitter. I think it's time for bed, Grandpa. And he goes, get off my lawn. Like, Graham Nolan is a total Chad. He's an alpha male. He can stand on his own two legs and back himself. But it just, I hated the hate that people were getting. And I understood where some of them were coming from, because this was Nick Dragata that is the artist on the series, and I like Nick's work. I liked East of West, but this just definitely isn't doing it. I just kind of wanted to get your thoughts both on this iteration of Bane, and then also just kind of what people have been kind of reaching out to Graham and saying, both positive and negative. I don't know if you've been familiar with this story or what's been going on with this over the last few days or not.
Well, Graham is absolutely a big boy, and because he's the co-creator, he's got every right to comment on something he created. But the lesson here is, if you work for corporate comics, you're going to get burned at some point. Sure, maybe he gets a good residual every now and then, every time Bane comes up in the world. I know a lot of other creators, they get checks in the mail because they did their time. But the things that you create for the corporate mainstream world, you divorce yourself from them because you don't have any control of what they're going to do with them. And we've seen that with lots of cherished characters that we love get turned into weird, perverted distortions of their former selves just because some Marxist is really a postmodernist art and wants to deconstruct, the patriarchy or whatever nonsense. So that's why it's important that you support Graham Nolan's personal work that he is doing of characters, and the rest of us tell your own stories, because you can control their destinies. You know where they're going. You know how they're going to get there. And you know that the people who you bring in to help create these worlds, you control how those are portrayed. You don't get to do that if you work for DC, Marvel, or any of the others. If you work for one of my buddies, Chad Townsend, he worked for Nickelodeon for many years. You think he gets any say on how SpongeBob or some of the other characters get handled? No, not at all.
You said Chad Townsend, right?
Yeah. So while we might love these characters and hate some of their iterations, you just got to roll with the punches, because that's the way mainstream media, especially here in America, it's just keep reinventing the wheel and get as much money out of it as possible, because they don't get it. That's why manga and anime kicks the West's ass, because they respect and honor their creators, their creations in the story. Stories have a beginning and an end. Characters die. They don't come back. You don't have to worry about a new #1 coming out. In our corporate culture here, it's just keep churning and burning.
Oh, for sure. I will say there is an exception to that rule, though. There is no end to One Piece. One Piece does not end. and another exception to the rule, Akira Toriyama's Dragon Ball Z specifically, Goku died 3 times, two or 3 times, came back. So Goku does come back. Outside of those 2 exceptions, yes, 100%. That is why manga and everything in the East is so popular. It doesn't do any of that nonsense, except for the 2 titles that make it work.
And give Absolute Batman a chance if you're a Batman fan. I've heard good things about that story, but think of it as a carnival ride. It's not a car you're bringing home.
Yeah, but here's a nice little cleanser, though, after seeing the Pinhead Bane.
There you go.
Just a nice little cleanser, a Graham Nolan original.
Look.
What was that?
The classic pro wrestler look.
Yeah, oh yeah, definitely. Actually, that is where is it? I just saw the chat. There we go. Risk It for a Biscuit says AI art sickens me, and the reason why I'm highlighting that is because that's actually one other thing I wanted to just kind of discuss and get your thoughts on real quick. But before I do, I asked just to make sure that you said Chad Townsend, because I actually did our first ick or ick indie comic highlight on him and his book, Black Phantom Rocket's Red Glare.
Black Phantom is amazing. It's a great little character. I love it.
Yeah, so the fact that you mentioned him, he's a friend of yours, is just really coincidental and funny. So I just wanted to let you know that we actually did one on him back in February too.
I'm gonna try to get him on Cocaine Shark too at some point.
Oh, there you go. But,
he's on my short list. Him and Don DeLay are on my short list for Cocaine Shark too.
Well, you know what? That sounds like a short list that I definitely want to buy many copies of the book for. Well, we're not going to talk Snow White, but I had this bookmarked. Look at me. I am Snow White now. Where was it? Here it is. So this is just, I want to talk to you about AI art because this has been floating around over the last half a day, 2/3 of a day. So what if Studio Ghibli directed Lord of the Rings? This guy apparently spent $250 in AI art credits or something, and 9 hours re-editing the Fellowship of the Ring trailer to bring that to life, to kind of give an idea. Now, granted, it looks awesome. It looks really cool. But this is all AI generated, or primarily AI generated. So I just kind of wanted to get your thoughts on AI art, and like Risk It for a Biscuit says, I mean, it sickens him. And I know there are people out there that are for it, people out there that are super against it. And I can see kind of the middle ground, but your thoughts in terms of what we're seeing with AI art moving right now and moving forward.
Well, the thing is that this is a freight train heading for every creative person. The creative field's going to get a hit first, and then all of the mid-level professionals, like my wife who does bookkeeping, for example. It's coming for everybody, and it's just easy to see here. Like this is still first gen. And the studios are licking their chops at it. Unless we get some sort of movement from Congress to protect the rights of creators and their styles, mainstream, this is what mainstream is going to be. Your comics, your cartoons are all going to be AI generated. They're going to have the least amount of people, human beings, working on them. If you want to stay in that business and you're an artist, you're going to have to swallow and bend over and become a prompter. I'm sorry, that's just the way it's going to be, because that's the way mainstream corporate culture works. If you're smart, create your own ideas, because so far AI can't put the heart of the story into it. And at its least, it's a tool to aid in the creation process. At its worst, it's a usurper. And hopefully human beings will be able to control that destiny, but I just don't see that happening in the mainstream. So if you're a creator, create your own stuff, start getting it out there, and maybe look at jobs like skilled trades as a backup career. Be a plumber, be an electrician, because robots can't do that yet. And feed your family somehow. That's my on it. If it can be useful as a tool in the creative process, doing a lot, it helped Mermaid, for example, because I was just like coming up with a concept art. But we hired Erik Hodson to take that concept, redraw it in his style, his own interpretation of it, to have a really good piece. And that's the black and white with the chain gun. So maybe it helps get the creative juices flowing. I will occasionally use it for that when I have a problem coming up with an idea, just to throw some stuff at the wall. But as far as like your day-to-day grind artists, this will replace you. So you need to have a backup plan.
Oh, come on, go back. There we go. Stupid StreamYard. But yeah, me personally, I definitely agree with you. It's definitely going to be used more for like the corporate mediums or corporate companies that are in this media, both in film and animation and all that stuff. And there, like you said, there'll be no heart behind it. Granted, what we've been getting out of the corporate side of all these different industries, the AI is arguably better in some instances.
I
But
mean, there's no discounting that it's overcome the fingers thing. It's overcome, and this is still very beginning.
yeah,
So,
but
and
it
that
needs
the
that
Studio
human
Ghibli
element.
stuff. It's not just that style. That I posted some guy who is a scientist or a science teacher. He's making Golden Age style comics with learning about how a cell works. That was a job that somebody like me could have bid on, but now he's doing it in minutes with ChatGPT 4. So you got to be realistic. You got to be realistic about this stuff. The people who are going to be in the worst shape are going to be the get off my lawn folks who keep to the old ways. Some of those that are really well known, they'll survive because of their name, because of their time into it. But if you don't have a name, you don't have a following built up, you're going to have to look at this what it is as another tool in your war chest if you really want to keep the creative process going and make stuff. But you got to realize that there's no more putting together a portfolio. There's no more go to college, get a job. That is over with, especially in the creative fields. But the other lower level stuff like, marketing, ad design, bookkeeping, don't go to school for those things because it's a waste of your time, because the robots will be doing those jobs as soon as they can.
Yeah.
That's just the way it is. So you got to learn to live with it, use it, or find another avenue to survive. And I think what's going to happen after a while is people are going to be, and I'm talking about the normies, the consumers. See, we can preach about how bad AI is, how it's taking my jobs or taking jobs from my friends or buddies. The normal 9-to-5ers out there who consume our entertainment do not care one bit. Now, you're passionate about comics, so you do care one bit. But most people who just want to go to a movie, turn on HBO Max, fall asleep in front of the TV, they do not care who's making their stuff. They don't want to know your name. They just want to be entertained. And the studios are going to go for that. Now, eventually, what I see happening is that the public will kind of get tired of it, because it's all, once you distill everything down, it's all going to kind of look the same. And if you pay attention to AI art most of the time, a lot of it starts to look the same. I'm hoping that there will be another renaissance where the actual hand-drawn aspect, the human aspect of storytelling is going to be appreciated again by the normie audience. But we're not there yet. I'm hoping for that. I could definitely see that being the realization, especially if there's an apocalypse and the power grid goes out. You're still going to need people to make pottery to cook your pizza in and whatnot.
Oh, absolutely.
So work on those skills. One of the things that I'm doing when I have a little bit of free time is I'm going back to my old non-digital skills, gouache, watercolors, colored pencil, and trying to work on those types of stuff and get those skills, sharpened, because, we got used to Wacom templates. We got used to iPads. That's just an older version of what AI has become. It's grown out of that. Mm-hmm. So, work on those skills, because the people are going to be pouncing on this. I saw one, I'm trying to get something to show that's non-digitally drawn.
Oh, you're good. Just while you're getting that, for the AI art and all that stuff, if for somebody that's not trying to make any money off of it or mass produce anything, it's fun, it's cool, it's fun to play with. That's how I came across getting this. My channel avatar, I was playing around with AI I was playing around with the Grok AI, actually. So, for somebody like me who can't draw, who can't do anything like that, and I'm not looking to make money off of the things that I generated in Grok or whatever, that's all well and good. But then, once you're getting into the whole mass-produced media and stuff like that, and taking the human element out of it just so these large corporations can make even more money, that's where I draw the line as well. But just for the regular everyday person, though, AI art is fun. Just be careful of it.
So here's my sketch cover. So this is a style I've been working on. There's no black ink. It's colored pen, colored pencil, and marker. I'm a CGC Signature Series artist. These are available on the Fantastic Collection website. So this is something that I'm trying to bring to the table in terms of traditional skill building and really kind of working on those. This is what I try to do when I go to Comic Cons and people ask me to draw for them. I do stuff in this style, and yeah, so this, and I love it because you can get in there and get really nice details.
Oh yeah, that's beautiful. I love that.
Yeah, this is definitely one of my showpieces. But yeah, that's the thing. It's like if you primarily draw digitally right now, start polishing the old skills, because hopefully before I'm old and gray, those will be really appreciated again. So.
Oh yeah, and it's actually funny that you brought that out and showed that and how wonderful that is. Because I was going to say, if anything, if there does come this second renaissance of just art by hand and pen to paper and all that, it's going to be people like you that are leading the charge on that. So keep doing your thing, definitely, and keep working and honing, and because you can never be perfect at anything. You can only always get better. And although compared to me, definitely you are a perfectionist at your trade, but there's always room for improvement, whether it's different techniques or just how you did that sketch cover for Venom. That is beautiful, and I don't think I've seen anything kind of like that before, in terms of just in a CGC slab or just on a comic book cover. So that it's definitely going to be you and others like you that are going to lead that charge for that second renaissance. So I thank you, the people in the chat that are interested in this kind of stuff. They thank you, and the future generations that'll be really the ones that take advantage and are able to enjoy that next wave, that new renaissance that we hope comes about. I thank you on behalf of them, 20, 30, 40, 50 years down the road. But it's people like you that are going to lead that charge, though, and I'm excited for it. But
well said.
But before we get going, there is one final thing here that we like to do on Comics Dad, on Talkin Shop with Comics Dad. And I am the Comics Dad. So Erik, hit me with your best dad joke.
Okay, so do you know the difference between a crow and a raven?
I do not.
So a crow and a raven, while they may look the same, they actually have a different number of feathers. The crow has an extra feather on its wing called the pinion feather. The raven does not. So what it boils down to is the difference between a crow and a raven is a matter of opinion.
But that's a good one. And I had a good pirate themed one for X-Wing on our last show. But the one I got for you now is just I use it on almost a daily basis with my older one, especially when either she came across something that she learned about while watching YouTube or whatever, or when she gets out of school and she wants to tell me about something new she learned. She comes up and she goes, "Hey, Dad." I go, yeah, kiddo. What's up, girly? And she goes, "Do you know?" And I just cut her off and I go, "The Muffin Man." and I'll do that 2-3 times in a row with her and build up to the gingerbread man from Shrek. The Muffin Man.
That's pretty good.
But so Erik, thank you so much, sir, for joining us tonight on Talkin Shop. I appreciate it. Everybody, go check out Erik's X page. You can follow him over at Dreded Dinosaur on X. He's got his link tree in there, so anybody that wants to go read the Dreded Dinosaur Man can do that. Keep an eye out for updates on The Daughter's Revenge coming out for the next book in the Achromatic Chronicles series. Erik's the artist on that as well. Keep an eye out for the Little Mercmaid Kickstarter Second Chance campaign. And Erik, do you have any final parting words for the chat?
Not to add another book to the list, but I did do a book called Roddy Piper, the Kilted Avenger for Mess Bucket Comics a few years back. And the sequel to that book, I have a copy of it right here. So this is the Roddy Piper Kilted Avenger, available at messbucketcomics.com, also on walmart.com. But the second book will be launching as a Kickstarter soon, and it stars the British Bulldog, because I'm actually kind of known in the wrestling business doing wrestling art. That's how this came about. So the British Bulldog UK Defender will be dropping on Kickstarter, hopefully within the next month or two. SourcePoint Press is running that Kickstarter, so we're kind of waiting on them. The art's done, the book's done, so you're going to get that right away if you order that. But so this is something to follow Mess Bucket Comics. We're doing a series of 4 books starring professional wrestlers as superheroes. So Roddy Piper here, he is a vigilante, kind of like Batman. And if you're a fan of any of his movies or him as a professional wrestler, you're going to love this. Same thing for the British Bulldog, and be looking out for that one.
And just real quick, also, we got a quick question for you, Erik. Risk It for a Biscuit wants to know, how is the Selling Superman project going?
The movie is going pretty well. It's available on Amazon, Google Play, and Apple iTunes. So you can watch the 4-part series there. And hopefully it'll be jumping to something like Netflix at some point. But that's out of our hands. That's up to the production studio, i2i Productions. If you want to know any more updates on Instagram, the Selling Superman Instagram is updated fairly regularly.
Wonderful. Well, again, Erik, thank you so much, sir. It has been an absolute privilege and an honor having you on here. I know I was telling X-Wing, once it gets closer to Daughter's Revenge coming out, definitely love to have him come back on. Same thing with you. You're always more than welcome over here to come hang out, whether it's for Talkin Shop or if you just want to, if you ever just want to message me like, hey, man, give me a link. I just want to pop in and say hi. You got it, dude. Just let me know. But it's been an absolute blast. Erik, you are such a fantastic craftsman of your art and your trade. And again, I thank you so much for coming on to the channel. Comics crew, thank you all so much for hanging out with us tonight. Show Erik some love. Go support him and everything that he's doing. And we will see you guys tomorrow for our Friday gaming stream. We will see you at the beginning of next week for our other 2 gaming streams. Because we do multiplayer night on Sundays, where Erik, if you have anybody that's interested in just having some fun and playing games with us, we play Mario Kart, we play Fortnite, I play with the chat. So if you have anybody that's interested in that, and then I just kind of whatever games I feel like playing, I play. I just did the gaming streams kind of on a whim. It wasn't even what the channel was supposed to be about, but people were liking it. So also, I dropped yesterday a new comics read along. Reading The Amazing Spider-Man 121. This is not the actual book. I wish it was. If it was, I'd be so excited. This is just the facsimile, just reprint with all the original ads.
I love facsimiles. I love those. I buy them for my father. I just got in the Daredevil #1. I got to take that over there with some of the other ones. But yeah, those are great. You know, to go back and read the old stories, those are beautiful.
Oh yeah. Well, and what I do with those read along videos is I try to stray away from doing 2 in the same title, pretty close together. Like usually I'll do a Marvel and a DC in a week, and then I'll do 2 indie or 2 creator owned publication companies like Image, IDW, stuff like that. But this week, just because I did 121, the next one I'm going to be working on for the end of the week is going to be the follow-up 122. This is also the facsimile. So anybody wants to go hear me do voices or wants to not read and just listen to me and my annoying voice tell the story of one of the greatest Spider-Man stories ever told, go ahead and go watch the first one. Keep an eye out for the second one. But until next time, everybody, thank you so much. This is Comics Dad, and this is Erik Hodson, the Dreded Dinosaur Man. And we both say thank you so much, and we'll see you next time. Here I go.
So tune in, geek out, it's all in good fun. Talking shop with Comics Dad, everyone. Let's keep the conversation lively and bright. See you next time for more insight. Welcome to Talkin Shop, where we never stop discussing heroes, villains, every plot twist we've got, from ink to screen and all in between. With Comics Dad and friends, it's the scene.
Hold on real quick, everybody. Not you, Erik. Sorry to catch you off guard, but real quick, everybody, I forgot about something. Real quick, happy 6th anniversary to you, Mrs. Comics Dad. It's actually our anniversary tonight. She, needless to say, I'm in a little bit of trouble because I scheduled this with you without realizing that. But after talking to her, I talked her down. She's very understanding. She's cool with it. But happy anniversary, Mrs. Comics. I love you, Mrs. Comics. The chat loves you. We all love you. Thank you so much for letting me do this with Eric tonight, Mrs. Comics. You're the best. Happy anniversary, baby. I love you. Mwah. Eric, chat, thank you all guys all so much. We will catch you next time. Now I'll let you go, Eric. Take care, everybody.